Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Thank you all so much for coming. This is our second year in a row we've done something like this, and this is really great attendance, so thank you all so much for being here. Full disclosure, we are videotaping today's presentation. It's just going to be the back of your heads, the front of us, but we are going to be sending this out onto the web so that people can access this information who are either out of state or couldn't be here for whatever reason today. Before we begin, my name is John Savastano. I am the Vice President of TAO, as well as the Co-Benefits Coordinator with Mr. Ed Kelleher, who all of you, if not most of you know. I'd also like to introduce to you our Office Manager, who many of you know from either a voice on the phone or your mail, Ms. Lachelle Cassio. And today, two new people that we have with us today that I think are going to be important pieces in what we're presenting to you. We have a new broker, and that's Kurz Planning, and this is Seth Kurz of Kurz Planning. His father, Bill Kurz, worked with us for a very long time for different products that we offered through the Welfare Trust. And we met with Seth and Bill, and we are now with them full time, and we couldn't be happy with the progress that we've made in the short time that we've been together. We also have today from Cigna, Irma Pitter, who is here from Cigna. I don't know your title, Irma, I'm sorry.
Engagement consultant.
So she's going to engage us. So you're here to be engaged.
She's a senior engagement.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. We wouldn't put a junior engagement consultant around here. So they'll be presenting the information about some of the new plans. And basically the point of today is last year we saw that the premium of the PPO, which our active members do not pay, is getting high for people to pay in retirement, especially those people who've been retired for a long time. So we offered the DHMO as an option for two reasons last year. Number one, for our active members, it drives down the amount of premium that the Welfare Trust was paying. But we have not been able to engage our members too much because they're not paying premium. So they have less of an interest than a retired member does. Because as far as they're concerned, they're getting their coverage regardless. And then last year, after we made this presentation, one of the good things, beside those people who took the DHMO, and we have gotten pretty positive feedback after some slow getting the materials out and getting some of the cards initially, we have got pretty good feedback as far as the way the product's working for people, is that we heard from retirees saying that they like the dentist they go to, they're not in the DHMO network. Is there a way to offer a different level of PPO? So that's one of the things that we're going to be presenting to you today, as well as a second DHMO option. So by the end of today, you'll have heard about 4 different dental options that you'll be able to take in retirement. These options are not available to our active members. Our active members only have the PPO, which we've had forever, and the new DHMO. Those are going to be the only 2 options. But in retirement, you're going to have, at least for now, 4 options. And our goal is to try to offer each person what fits for both their budget as well as their needs. So hopefully by the end of today's presentation, you'll be educated. We're going to, at the end of it, we'll present the rates as they'll exist for next year. As you may or may not remember, the rate that we negotiated on the PPO last year was a frozen rate for this year. So that PPO number, if you're still paying that, is going to be the same as it was last year. But all the other rates we'll explain to you as we go through. And then finally, before we begin, if you have any questions as follow-up after this, please feel free to contact the office, and we'll either reach out to Cigna or to Kurz Planning to get the answer for you, the appropriate answer. The only thing that we want to warn against is that we're apprehensive to give you the advice. Well, advice, fine. We don't want to tell you which plan you should go into. It's really a very individual decision that you have to make for yourself. So, by all means, this is Bill Kurz, the other one of our brokers. So, without any further interruption, I'll hand it over to Seth and Irma, who will be here to educate you about the programs. And please feel free to ask questions, and we'll try to get any answers we can to you. Thank you.
I'm Seth Kurz, Bill Kurz. We're basically a backstop behind Cigna. One thing that Cigna doesn't do well, our job is to jump up and down on Cigna and be sure Cigna does it right. Irma is very good at her job. Cigna is very good at what they do. I don't anticipate it to be any problems. She's already got my warning quietly in the back room. It's all going to be good. Irma's going to tell you about a lot of good plans. The PPO option, the new one, is very good, and so is the DHMO option. If you want individual consultation, I'd be happy to talk with you to tell me what you're thinking about doing, what your needs are. Maybe I can help guide you towards a particular plan. Irma?
Great. So you can be my...
Yes, I will.
Thanks, everyone. Again, I'm a senior engagement consultant, and I have to say that it's not a bad thing being a senior. Everybody's beautiful in here, so I'm looking forward to being a real senior. Thank you.
Me too.
So yes, so welcome to Cigna Healthcare. We'll go over the dental plan options, and we'll just, we'll have a conversation about it. If you have any questions, raise your hand. So we'll just move forward and start, okay? So again, you have the Cigna Dental Preferred Organization, that's a DPPO. They always say in our training, don't use acronyms, just go through the whole thing. So the DPPO stands for the Dental Preferred, Provide Preferred Organization. So with that, you can choose any licensed provider, and you're not new to this at all, because you've had a DPPO before, correct? So you can see any licensed provider. Again, but you do see bigger savings when you're utilizing an in-network provider. So you can see a specialist without a referral under the GPPO plan. Once you receive the services, you'll pay a portion of it, of the cost. Your coinsurance, which we'll go through later, will have a side-by-side presentation of what's covered. And then the plan pays the rest. So that's how it works. Most dental PPO providers will submit claims for you. If you're in a network, you don't have to submit anything. If you decide to go out of network, you'll have to submit it. But sometimes your out-of-network provider will submit for you as well. But if you go in network, they'll submit the claims on your behalf. But some out-of-network will do it as well if you decide to do that. Again, the amount you pay depends on your co-insurance level. We'll go over that earlier. So whether it's 50, 80, 20, 50, 50, or whatever, we'll go over that. Just wanted to mention that. And once you've reached your plan annual benefit maximum, and we'll talk about that later as well, your plan will no longer pay a portion of the cost during the plan year. You have a calendar year maximum as well. That's what that's speaking about. So we'll go into that in detail. Next slide. This is pretty much high level of the total Cigna PPO plan. You have in-network contracted rates as well as out-of-network costs. And if you decide to go in-network for the preventive care, which is the class 1s, Cigna will cover 85% of that, and you're responsible for the rest. I believe like 15%. Yeah, exactly. 85%, Cigna covers 85%, you're responsible for 15%. If you decide to do the class 2s, if you're seeking services for class 2s, we're talking about things like fill-ins and things along those lines. Basic restorative care. Again, Cigna covers 85%. You're responsible for 15%. You don't have an annual deductible. I just want to bring that to your attention because typically Cigna picks up after your deductible, but you don't have a deductible under this plan. Okay, just want to bring that to your attention. Major restorative. We're talking about class 3 services. Bridges, crowns, and things along those lines. I call them pretty much like big items. Cigna covers 50%, you're responsible for 50% as well. We're just focusing on the in-network at this point in time. We'll talk about out-of-network as well. For class 5, which is TMJ, which is a benefit that you have, Cigna covers 80% and you're responsible for 20% of the charges of that. For implants, which is class 6, the implants are pretty much, Cigna covers 50%, you're responsible for 50% if you needed those services. Want to bring attention to the bottom area here. We have a calendar year maximum of $2,000, and that's the calendar year max per your calendar year. That's the most they'll cover. There's an ortho max, a lifetime maximum orthodontia, which is also $4,000. That's a lifetime. Pretty much for orthodontia, you pretty much just need one set of braces actually, but it's a lifetime max of $4,000. And there's also an annual benefit maximum for implants. That's $3,000. So just want to bring that to your attention as well. Now, what happens when you've exhausted your calendar year maximum? Then you'll start picking up your own costs because you've exhausted that. So that's why it's so important to go in network, because we do have the negotiated rates with our doctors. And your calendar year maximum will go a longer way because the rates that they're billing you are negotiated and lesser than if you decide to go at a network. So if you look at the high level comparison out of network, it seems like it's the same, 85%, and you're responsible for 15%. But it's 85% of usual and customary, so it depends on where the provider resides, and that the cost there will be a little higher, much higher than what Cigna will be paying the provider, and the provider will balance bill you the difference. So, whereas if you go in network, whatever the provider pays, whatever Cigna pays the provider, that's paid in full, after you've paid your 50% as well, just so you know. In the out-of-network situation, they can balance bill you the difference between what Cigna pays them and what you're expected to pay, and then they can bill you the difference between that. The Cigna may pay, let's say Cigna pays $100 and they bill Cigna $200, they'll expect you to pay the difference there. So that's what's called balance billing when you're utilizing an out-of-network provider. Follow? And that same thing applies to the preventive care, which is 85%, you're responsible for the 15%, but whatever Cigna pays them, they'll bill you the difference as well. Same thing applies to your basic restorative, that's the, the fill-ins and the things along those lines, 85% again. So you have a passive PPO, which seems like, you're paying the same thing, but you're paying much more if you decide to go out of network. Same thing applies to the orthodontia, 50%, out of network. Again, TMJ is 8%. Implants, again, it's 80%, but it's 80% of what's usual and customary, which means 80% of what we'll pay in that geographic area. Any questions on the out-of-network side, please? Okay. Like I said, it's not new to you guys.
The DHMO was only off the first time last year, so anyone who had dental coverage prior to that had PPO.
Okay, so that's pretty good to know. This is just another DPPO option that you have. You have another DPPO option, right? So you have, again, preventive care in network is covered at 70%, no deductible. Again, you do have out-of-network coverage as well, but we'll focus on the in-network side of things at this point. If you look at the class 2s, the basic restorative fillings and things along those lines, 60% off your deductible. And if you notice, the first plan didn't have an annual deductible, whereas this plan has an annual deductible of $75. Individual and $150 per family. Just want to bring that to your attention. So for preventive care, there's no deductible. You go in, you pay your 70%, and Cigna, you pay your 30%. Cigna will pay the 70% thereafter. Make your deductible. Basic restorative is 60% after deductible. Major restorative, we're talking about crowns and things along those lines, 50% after deductible. Orthodontia, 50% no deductible for orthodontia. Class 5s, which is a TMJ, is not covered under this plan. Implants, not covered as well. Just want to bring that to your attention. Out-of-network, again, it's a passive PPO, so you still pay 70% no deductible if you decide to utilize an out-of-network provider. Again, 60% after deductible. Again, with an out-of-network provider, they'll balance bill you the difference between what Cigna pays them and what they're charging you, so you'll get a bill. Most providers may balance bill you. Major restorative out-of-network is 50% off your deductible. Ortho, for out-of-network, again, 50% no deductible for ortho. TMJ and implants not covered under this PPO plan. Okay?
So, I'm sorry, just a quick question. So the first slide that you showed was the DPPO we currently have, if that's what we've selected?
Exactly.
And this is the other alternative?
Exactly.
Okay.
Good question.
Correct. So that's a great point. So this is, as you look at this, if you say I have implants on the horizon for me, this DPPO option is not going to be an option that you're going with one. That's a good question. But yes, this is the side by side. This is the new option that we're offering to the PPO.
This is the new option. Exactly. This one also bring attention to your calendar year max. The item at the bottom, the first DPPO plan which you have currently now did not have a deductible. This one does. Your calendar year max is $2,000. It has an ortho lifetime max as well as $4,000. Just want to bring that to your attention under this new DPPO plan, just to see the differences that are.
And what is the difference as far as cost?
So I'm going to, at least at the end, I'm going to present that's behind the screen. So at the end, I'll show you all four options side by side so you can compare. One question, Irma, what is the deductible contingent upon for the, so like it says in 6% after deductible, we don't have deductibles in the other program, so what is the deductible amount contingent upon? Are there specific deductibles per?
Well, for this plan, you have to pay the $75, that's the deductible. So you go to the doctor's office first day, they'll bill you $75, and once you've done that, your deductible is met. So if your bill is $200, so you'll be responsible for $25, and then thereafter with 60% off your deductible.
So it's $75, $150 for each visit?
No,
Oh, that's an annual
year, exactly. Very good question. Deductibles are annual. You paid at $175 for individual, $150 per family. You've satisfied your deductible for the year.
And it applies to the amount that's covered by Cigna.
Right, exactly.
The amount that's
Is that what
balanced
you want to
above.
say? Yes, exactly.
Do you have that chart in here?
This presentation is going to be made available online on our website, but it was just too much to copy for today. So, but we will make sure that that site gets out to everybody.
Just want to talk about our network. Cigna Healthcare Total's DPPO network is one of the largest networks out there. So if you're looking for an in-network provider, you will find one unless if you have that special doctor that you like, that you don't want to leave but our network is extremely large. We have over 136,000 providers. We have nearly, the network has 280,000 offices in the network, so our network is one of the largest out there for sustained networks. Just want to share that with you. And so,
If I could expand upon that also, in your retiree kit, which John is going to post online shortly, there is a DPPO and a DHMO provider nomination form. So if you have that special dentist that's not in a network, feel free to nominate him. Let him know he's been nominated. Someone from Cigna Provider Relations will get a hold of him, try to get him to join the network. The process is usually 3 to 9 months, depending how fast he gets paperwork back to the insurance company. And you might find your special doctor in the network. It doesn't cost you anything to nominate him.
that does happen for real, because that happened to me. I had my favorite dentist. I wasn't moving, so it worked. It took, 9 months or so, but it did work. So thanks for doing that. I just want to mention that all our dentists are consolidated in one directory. You can also go online or Cigna.com. MyCigna.com is user-friendly. It's pretty easy. You go online. If you're a Cigna member now, you can go to MyCigna.com. You register. You have a secure password, and you can just search. You can search your claims. You can search for a provider. You can find information on provider address in our directory. So that's a very user-friendly tool to just keep in mind, mycigna.com. Now, if you're not a Cigna member yet, I could go to www.cigna.com and you can search for a provider. You want to just check if the provider is in the network. You have a question?
Actually, I do. I have a friend who recently moved out of state, could be temporary, I don't know, and she asked me to ask for her, are any of these options or all of them available to Lindenhurst teachers who will be living out of state for
Yes.
part of the year or all of the year?
All options are
From
available.
us.
Oh, yeah. You mean the providers or the network?
Well,
The
the whole
benefits,
thing,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
She-
The DPPO is national, right?
She's in the U.S. or she's out of the U.S.?
In the U.S.
In the U.S., so it's available everywhere. If she's out of the U.S., then she would have to use the DPPO option and go out of network.
Thank you.
So just the other plan that you have, we call it the Cigna Dental Health Maintenance, which is a DHMO. So with the DHMO, you can choose a primary care dentist in the DHMO network and receive all your care as well. By using a DHMO provider in the network, you may pay less than you pay for other dental plans. Again, we have negotiated rates with the providers as well. You pay the charge list. You have something called the patient charge schedule, which is in your packets. It tells you exactly what you're paying for each visit and for each service that you're accessing. So there is no other network services except in emergencies under the DHMO plan. It's all the network, as I mentioned earlier. Our providers are credentialed, and we have a large network as well under the DHMO plan. Not as huge as the DPPO, but our providers are credentialed as well.
When I joined the plan, I joined the DHMO. Now, I selected a dentist that you guys recommended on the list, but I don't really like them. Can I change to a different dentist, or do I have to wait until the year is up, or?
No, once you enroll in a DHMO plan, you can change your dentist.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
change your dentist. I believe they give you 90 days, but don't quote me on that, I can get back to you with that. But you can change your dentist, exactly. You just want to give them enough time to make those changes for your name to appear on the roster.
Okay.
So you can access the care, so, yes. You can
I believe if you notify them before the 15th of the preceding month, you'll show up on the 1st of the month on the roster on the new dentist.
Okay.
Just call Cigna, the 1-800 number on the back of your card, and they'd be happy to take care of it.
Exactly. So with this, no deductibles and no annual dollar maximum under the DHMO plan. You don't have any deductibles at all. Just wanted to give you some high-level information on the patient charge schedule, which is the A2109. This is the one you have now.
This is DHMO option 1, and we're going to go over DHMO option 2 after this.
Option 1 is the one that they have right now.
Correct.
Right? Just want to make sure we're on the same page with that. So, under the DHMO option 1, you have preventive care covered at 100%. As you can see, out-of-network, no coverage here for any of this. Just so you know that. The basic restorative, everything you're saying refers to your patient charge schedule, and if you want to bring attention to what it looks like. Can
It's
it
this.
Yes,
Right here.
yes, please. That's the Bible.
Yours might be double photocopied, some of them might be, there you go, you got This tells you what your copay is for the particular ADA code. As you all probably remember, the dentist has an ADA code for whatever procedure he does. This tells you whatever the procedure ADA code is and what your copay is. Some of them are zero, and they vary all the way up to orthodontia benefit, bridges, caps, crowns.
But it's all on your patient charge schedule, so that's important for you to become familiar with.
You can just give them mine.
Nice to know how to do all that.
Gentleman in the red shirt.
Every meeting I go to, it depends on the content. Reading it, meeting
No, you can keep it. Yeah, there should be one in your packet, but if it didn't get in there, you can keep that one.
The greatest thing about the DHMO is that you're a provider and you also know how much you're paying, because it's all on the patient charge schedule. So that's important. Now, with the DHMO plans, you don't have any deductibles at all. Your calendar year maximum is unlimited. On the other plan, you had $2,000 per se. This is unlimited. Your lifetime max under orthodontia is unlimited. And for the plans that may have the implants, it's unlimited as well. So just want to stress that under the DHMO plan, most things are unlimited. And you know exactly what you're paying because it's on the charge schedule. Okay. The key thing is that you need to choose a provider that you are familiar with or not, or somebody recommends something. And so if you're on the roster, then you can access care as quickly as possible. You'll also get an ID card once you've chosen a provider with the name on it as well. So this is not new to you, this is the thing, okay? So this is option one for the DHMO patient charge. Do you want to go over option two right now while we're at it?
Sure, we'll go over option two.
Yeah, there's an option two as well, another option for the DHMO plan. It's the, we call it a PC 100. And on this plan, everything is covered. You have zero copay on any of the services. All services are covered.
Unfortunately, that book is not in your kit because there was a little change in plans, that the plan wasn't originally going to be available to you guys, but the union decided that it was going to be available to you guys, so I apologize that it's not in your kit. But we will have it posted online, it will be in the retiree kit online, and we can mail anybody a copy who needs a copy the old-fashioned snail mail way.
And just so you know, the payment schedule reads
All
zeros. They're all zeros across the board.
Basically the same as the one that you have there, except for it's all zeros until you get to like braces. Crowns are zero, bridges are zero, fillings are zero, cleanings are zero, exams, x-rays, all zeros across the board.
But you're going to see there's an increase in premium from where the other DHMO was. So that's
It's about a little more than twice as much as the other DHMOs.
Is it more expensive than the current one?
No.
And we'll show you that in a moment. I mean, we just wanted to get all this information first and then show it to you. But it's a good question. Yes?
But you have to go to one dentist to get advice. You can't go to specialists.
No, you go to specialists. How the DHMO works.
Right, go ahead.
How the DHMO works is you go to your generalist. Your generalist says, oh, you need an oral surgeon. He'll refer you to a Cigna oral surgeon. A Cigna oral surgeon will do whatever the procedure is. If there's some particular reason you don't like that oral surgeon, you can have him refer you to a different oral surgeon that's in the network, and you can get the procedure done.
But he has to participate
In the Cigna, in the,
DHMO.
correct.
Not
Not
the
the PPO, that is correct.
And the same with orthodontia too. So if you're in the DHMO, all levels of dentistry must be done by someone in network.
To give you guys an idea of comparison, there's about 600 dentists in Long Island that are in the DHMO and Cigna. In the DPPO, there's about 5,700 dentists that are in Long Island. So there's a little difference in size of the network, but you're also saving a ton of money on premium, and you're saving a ton of money on what your co-pays are, if you do pick a dentist that's inside the DHMO network.
And what about how many dentists are in the PPO?
The PPO is 5,700 about in Long Island, and the DHMO has about 600. Sir?
So the primary care dentist, who's a member of the DHMO,
Correct.
knows that he or she has got to refer you to a specialist
Correct.
within the network
Correct.
in order for you to be covered for the services.
Correct.
Okay. And there's no wiggle room, it has to be a
It
member.
has to be in the network, unless there's some kind of an emergency, God forbid you have something that's, I don't know, way off the spectrum, and you need some kind of a 1 in 1 million dentist type specialist to do
Right.
it, then I'm sure we can probably get them some exception appeal thing, but
Yeah.
let's hope that you don't have that
But
kind of
in
scenario,
general-
as a broad generalization.
Exactly, you're correct about that. If for some reason you need to see someone outside of the network, they'll contact Cigna and he'll get an approval, he or she will get an approval for that. But more importantly, they're all in the network, in the DHMO network.
Can we very briefly just define family? If we have a member and a spouse with no dependents,
That's still a family. From a billing point of view, that's still a family. You guys are a two-tier billing system where you're single and your family,
and that's it.
and that's it.
That's not fair. Mr. Black, would you please take care of that?
If there are dependents, they're eligible till the age of 26, correct?
Correct. All right, dependents eligible at 26.
If you just have a spouse.
A spouse, yeah.
And that's the 26th birthday.
26.
Till they turn,
The day they turn
through 26, till they turn 27.
27th, the 27th birthday.
Till the 27th birthday.
Wait, say it again?
They're eligible through 26, but the last day you're 26.
Prior to the 27th.
So they're eligible through 26,
Yeah,
up until they turn
That's what I meant.
27.
Up until they turn 27, and it'll go to the end of the month. It won't actually cut on the birthday. Because the coverage and premium's already paid, so Cigna won't cut it.
That's under the DHMO?
On both.
On both?
On both.
Both plans.
On both plans.
Oh.
That's a universal fee.
Too late for me. No.
So it's not too late to be a foster parent or adopt. Take advantage of that family rate. Let's get lots of siblings and lots of.
Just want to quickly go over some more benefits of the DHMO plan. Again, preventive care such as cleanings and x-rays are no added cost. You know, that cost that's on that sheet is included in all that. Additional cleanings, fluoride, and varnish is available for a copay as well. TMJ is covered, we mentioned that, the diagnosis, general anesthesia, IV sedation if it's medically necessary, it's all covered as well. Coverage for brush biopsy as well. No age limits for sealant. Second opinions are covered. Emergency care, ortho as well. So as you can see, the DHMO have a lot of other services that are covered. So keep that in mind when you.
Sealants are. I heard a question. Sorry. Sealants are where when you. It's like varnish on top of your teeth, for lack of a better definition, to use the boating term, since there's a boat dealer downstairs. It's a clear coat that helps little holes, and if you have a lot of bumps on your teeth, they tend to seal your teeth so you don't get extra cavities. It's a preventive measure.
So, sure.
You said this is 100% covered in this plan?
Yes.
Well, the one that we just, the second option, because you have also a first option, DHMO, you have two options.
Right,
This is
this is the second one.
Yeah, all of this is covered under the DHMO as well. But the second option is zero coverage. That's what we're-
Zero copays. The
Zero
difference
copays.
between DHMO
Zero
option 1 and DHMO option 2, DHMO option 2 being the new DHMO option with the zero copays, is that you pay less out of pocket. The premium is about a little more than twice what the other premium is, but you have no copays out of pocket. Nothing for bridges, nothing for crowns, no annual maximums.
I'm just wondering what the motivation for the dentist to participate in this.
So I'll give you some Cal's perspective.
And they're young, okay.
And they can be older too.
They're older too.
But I'm glad you asked the question because, we're kind of three-headed dragon here between Cigna, our brokers, and Cal. And as far as Cal is concerned, we're not pushing the DHMO on you. Because I know we're talking about the benefits here. We really just want you to walk away with the program you want. From the dental perspective, I mean from Irma's perspective, but from the company's perspective, we've had this conversation before. It seems to be the movement of the future toward the DHMO. So I think that they want to control the costs a little bit more. So I think that that's why you're hearing a lot about the benefits of what's going on here. But from Tal's perspective, and we hope that what you're taking away from this is that these are options and you should see what
No,
fits
but
you
I
best.
understand
Sure.
that, but it's, I want to know.
Sure.
The
The detriment, just to play the devil's advocate, the detriment is that you're beholden to stay inside the network, at least for that year. There's no getting out of it. You can't transfer out of the DHMO after you're in it for the year. And that's something that you have to really consider, especially for our active members that have kids who are going through orthodontic and things like that. You're married usually to that person, and you feel very confident about that person. So, I think that's the biggest detriment that I've heard of thus far.
But it's only for the one calendar year, and then you can switch.
Correct.
We will have open enrollment every year, yes.
Right.
Okay.
By the way, all these DHMO dentists are pre-screened by Cigna, So these people are good dentists. It's not a problem like that.
Eventual.
I'll give you, yeah, then you can, if the provider leaves the network, then you could switch to another provider. That would be an extenuating circumstance. I don't see that happen a lot. I gotta say that of the people, we have this DHMO product option in a lot of other school districts and municipalities. People that stay, the people that do choose it, like 97% or more stay in it every year because they see the benefit in it. I'm not saying it's gonna be perfect for you. That's why they give you the option during open enrollment to change. But like John alluded to earlier, this is the trend in the dental industry. Everybody remembers the 1980s when medical carriers invented HMOs and you started having co-pays and primary care physicians, and that was now you wouldn't even go to a doctor you didn't pay co-pay for. This is the trend for dental care. So think 10, 20, 30 years down the road, people aren't going to be able to think about going, you mean I have a deductible and co-insurance for a dentist? I don't just pay X amount of dollars. It's going to be the same mindset down the road.
Right. So keep in mind, these items are covered under your DPPO as well, but there's a cost associated with it. You know, you still get those things, some of it, exactly. So.
The DHMO covers teeth whitening though.
That's what I want.
That's what you want.
You got it, just for
I
you.
just wanted to stress that, you know.
So it's going at 20.
We just have some services attached with oral care, which I want to bring to your attention. So, you know, there's a dental and medical integration. So there's certain things certain diagnoses that you have allow you to get additional cleanings or additional treatment. For example, if you have in heart disease, you can get some cleanings on top of preventive care cleaning. If you've had a stroke, you also get additional cleaning as well, periodontal treatment. If you have diabetes, as you can see, certain diagnoses are integrating medical and dental. So I want to keep that in mind. Cigna is big on making sure that realize that our teeth is a part of our body as well, because we always have our teeth differently out there, but it's a part of our body, so we're integrating medical and dental. So for example, for maternity cases, you have options of, you know, the periodontal cleaning, you have several options, you have additional cleanings if you're expecting a child. There's also emergency palliative treatment as well. So if you look at that, now you also have kidney disease. You also have additional cleaning that you can get if you have kidney disease. And organ transplants, not that we want to go there, you get additional cleanings or sealants for that. Head and neck cancer, you get additional cleanings and certain programs that we're integrating the dental and medical programs as well. So just want to bring that to your attention.
And what you're saying is that should you need any of those services, they would be rolled into your new DHMO and also be zero?
This would be for DHMO or DPPO. We're just integrating the medical and the dental programs. So if you have,
I'm assuming it would have to be an in-network provider for these extra services as well.
Exactly.
Unless it was the PPO and then you could go out of network.
PPO, you also have in-network providers as well. So, you know, exactly. So just want to bring that to your attention. If you have those diagnoses.
I'm not planning on having any more.
I know. Me too. It's one benefit I do. Really, it's good to have.
On your PPO, you do have 3 cleanings that are available on your benefit structure normally on your PPO.
Just some of the key things that you have, added value, added benefits that you have just for having a dental. You also have the Cigna Health and Rewards. It's pretty much a discount program. You get discounts for things like, even though it's not dental in nature, it's medical, massage therapy, acupuncture, things like that. Yet only because you're covered under our dental plan, you're getting discounts on through our health rewards programs for certain items. There is something called the Identity Theft Program. It's a resolution services for the DHMO customers only. It'll help with critical issues like, you know, for credit card fraud or things along those lines, financial and medical identity theft. So if you're a DPPO member and that happens to, happen to you, you can contact Cigna and they'll connect you with our identity theft resolution services. Added value, added benefits. The dental information line, there's a hotline you can call 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can access professionals to get answers on your dental questions or symptoms. Just added value, added benefits. We're here for you, tools and resources, as we mentioned earlier, mycigna.com. you can go online.
We're gonna be down
You can
to one
actually go online, and if you're a Cigna member now, you can go to mycigna.com. If you're not a Cigna member yet, you go to www.cigna.com. So mycigna.com is when you register, you log on, you get a secure password, and you can check all of your benefits, and you can check your deductibles, whether they've been met. You can also check your annual maximum, how close you are to your annual max. So those are some of the things you want to make sure you pay attention to.
You can also download an app for your phone, for those of you that have smartphones. If you don't know what a smartphone is, don't worry about it. There's an 800 number on the back of your ID card. One of the other changes that's occurring this year as opposed to years before, if you have any questions, you're going to call Cigna's customer service number. Your claims are going to be mailed directly into Cigna if you're going out of network, as opposed to mailing them to the office in upstate New York, who is then boxing them and processing them over to Cigna. So you will have faster claim turnaround time this year as opposed to in years prior. Your providers are probably doing this already anyways, but for you, those of you that pay your own claims and submit the claim form, which by the way, there is a blank claim form inside this kit for you, you can send it in directly to Cigna. The address is on the claim form.
Thanks, don't say that. I like it. So again, yeah, except for the people, right? So again, mycigna.com, download this app on your smartphone. It's user-friendly. I have it. It's pretty easy. So I check my deductibles, because I have Cigna Dental too. I check my deductibles. I make sure that my deductibles are met. If it's not met, then we have to watch how the claims are paid. I keep an eye on my calendar year max as well. I want to make sure that I don't go over it. So again, when I need to find a provider, I get directions as well. So you can find that information on your provider. So yes, if you have not enrolled or registered on mycigna.com, you can do that anytime. And then once you've done that, you can download the app on your smartphone.
And just because it's been alluded to a couple times now, anyone in the DHMO network that joins receive a card that says specifically who their provider is. But for our DPPO members, this year, with the help of CURS Planning, we mailed out the most recent mailing that you received. You should have got a generic DPPO card, and that's just because people said, I don't have any proof of my insurance. That's not individual to any one of you. It just has our group number and basic information on it. And Seth and Billy made that recommendation that we get those, Cigna provided them, and you should have received it. If you didn't receive it, we have extra copies here before you leave today. But it's generic information, but it's just something to carry with you if you want, to have it at the desk.
Yeah, it's good. It has a customer service 800 number, etc.
Most of our providers know exactly how the DPPO works, but that's a great tool. That's great to have.
For the DHMO members, though, it's specific to the provider that you're linked to, your initial provider, your primary provider.
I have a question. Under the DHMO, if you have to have, like crowns or anything, is there a specific type that you have to have? Because I know some people have like.
It depends. Well, what's dentally necessary, call it. Like let's say in the back, they always approve like a filling, a metal filling in the back, as opposed to a porcelain filling that's on your back molars.
Right.
It would be the same thing for like a crown or a bridge. If you're doing it on your back teeth, you might get the one that's a little less glamorous looking. That might be the approved charge. And if you wanted to upgrade it to the one that's more aesthetically pleasing, call it, then you might have to pay the difference.
Oh, so okay, so you may need to pay. Okay, thank you.
All right, but that would be an option. Similar to fillings, like you get.
Just quickly, we have an online oral health assessment. Pretty much it's a brief questionnaire that you respond to, and it'll tell you whether you're at risk for cavities or dental disease or things along those lines. So I did it, and mine came out okay, even though I missed one of my preventive care. But it's a nice tool to just when you have some time, go online, answer the questions, and it'll give you an assessment of it. Okay? Again, how to find a dentist by using mycigna.com. Again, I know in your packet there are some steps. Exactly. That's perfect. I like that. Again, this just shows how to register onto mycigna.com. You user ID and get that information. It'll just take you through the steps. But the information in the packet is user-friendly and it's at your fingertips, so it's easy to use that.
And the registration is just for mycigna.com. Our open enrollment period for this year, for this fiscal year, will end June 20th. Is that correct? So you'll have up until June 20th to call the office. You'll inform Michelle, I want to switch over to whichever program it is, and then that will not reflect in your billing until September 1st. September 1st, you receive that first letter for your quarterly, but your program will change July 1st. So whichever program that you enlist into will change July 1st. You will not be billed for that program until September 1st. So whatever current bill you're paying, you'll pay through the end of this fiscal year, which is June 30th, and then even though you'll be enrolled in the program starting July 1st, you won't start paying for that program until September 1st.
This is the enrollment form, it's in your kit. If you are, you don't have to do anything if you're not going to make any changes in your current plan, but if you are going to change plans, fill out the enrollment form, all right, and write on the top, you know, what plan you want to sign up for, the new DHMO or the new PPO option, etc., and send it in to Michelle at TAL, and she'll process it for you. Send candy with it.
This slide pretty much talks about, finding a dentist. From time to time, you can also find the cost of your services if you need to forecast ahead of time. It's pretty user-friendly. It looks a little difficult when you look at it from here, but once you have it at your, fingertips, it's user-friendly. It's about finding the cost for your, if you have dental work that needs to be done, especially if you have the DPP, because under the DHMO, you have your cost is set on your patient charge thing. So this is focusing on if you have a DPP or provider, if you decide to go into that network, to give you an idea of the cost of dental work if you need to. So this is what this is about. You don't have to go through that if you don't want to, but it's here for you. Again, it tells you about the reason for visit. I guess Cigna's gathering information on the providers. Reason for visit, you can enter that as you go along. And all that is there for you once you log on to the website as well. Gives you direction, gives you some cost associated with it. So the information is if you have a provider, it'll give you how to get there and some of the costs of some of the services you may be looking for. This is again repeating understanding cost estimates. As you go online, you put a code in. From time to time, the doctor will give you a code. What I've asked my provider is that, all right, I'm going to have this dental work done. Give me the code that you're going to be billing Cigna. So I take that information and I put it in here. Give me an approximate cost. It's not to the to the correct amount. It's approximate. So you have an idea what you're spending. Just another way of being, a new way that Cigna wants us as members to be informed. So they want us to feel better connected with our providers. Again, Brighter is Cigna's first carrier to offer the Brighter Score technology. This brings innovation online, customer service tools to the dental related portions of the services. So you can do it at mycigna.com as well as on your mobile app. You have access to quality and transparent tools. You can compare the dentists by price, efficiency, and patient satisfaction. All that is on there once you access that. The Brighter Score pretty much show providers rank based on the measure and affordability and experience. Again, patient satisfaction.
Think Angie's List for dentists.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's pretty much what it is. Once you get in there, it'll give you all the information, the directory, the cost of items, location-wise, patient satisfaction. So if you don't know a dentist, you say, I'm looking for a dentist, or someone recommends a dentist, always get online and go to the Brighter Score, and then you'll find a lot of information about the dentist, which will make you more comfortable in using that provider, whether it's a DHMO or a DPO providers. I use that a lot as well. Again, it just enhances the provider search. And it just goes on and on. It's pretty easy though. It's good to pretty much watch.